Hey guys, I'm Robert, aka The Launch Dude here on YouTube. In this video, I'm going to take you on a tour around our newest facility, which is about 64,000 square feet. Kind of tell you some stories about what has transpired between me being in my basement 5 years ago to now an 8-figure brand selling custom hats on the internet. It's not been easy, it's not been fun sometimes, and it's been a lot of fucking hard work. Hopefully this is a video that helps you be more inspired to chase the thing that you've always wanted to do, and maybe give you the push you needed to get out of your comfort zone and take that first step into starting your own business. So what you see here, and Chris, don't walk backwards, you're going to die. What you see here is a construction project being ran by a guy that's never built a building this big before. So I'm the general contractor of this site. I've actually done some of the work myself. These lights and everything I hung up myself. That my office over there I built, but I don't know anything. I didn't go to school for construction. I've never had a construction job. I just know that if I find people that know how to do it, they can help me and teach me, and Chris is going to die if he keeps trying to move around like this. And I know that I'm going to be able to manage and execute on this construction project at my pace, at my say, and at my budget. If I have control. If I give this up to someone else to run this job for me, I'm at the mercy of them. I don't know what things are actually costing because it's in their balance sheets, not mine. I'm actually starting to really enjoy the construction process the more I'm doing this, and the more help I get in seeing how fast things can come together if you just buckle down and get shit done. Our current building that we're in is 8,400 square feet. I renovated that building as well. We have an aesthetic that's it's like gray walls, black ceiling, LED lights, concrete floors. That's what we're going for in this place. So yeah, this is a massive project that I'm basically tackling myself because I don't have the funds or the availability to hire some $1 million construction project company to come in and do this work. I ultimately just have to do it myself. Some entrepreneurs or people might tell you, I need to delegate more stuff so I can get more done, but I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job balancing my roles as CEO at the hat shop and then this construction project head here. So I don't want to give this up because I want to learn this. Now maybe the next project I have someone else do it and I'm just like a big person at the top overseeing everything. But for right now, for my experience and for me to know how to do this, I want to do this myself. And that's why I like doing things myself, because you learn how it actually works and you learn how to actually do it, and you're not hearing it from a third-party person. And that's like with these people on YouTube telling you how to do things and trying to teach you how to do things. Ultimately, it comes down to you just doing it yourself. And by you doing it yourself and not just giving a cookie cutter, this is how you do it, you're going to learn so much more and you're going to be so much better at that thing you're learning at the end of it. All right. Continuing on, when you look at our business now, we did $8 million last year alone. We could stay in the little tiny building we're in now and do 10, 12, 13 million and be okay. But for the growth and where I want to take this business, it was a no-brainer for me. I have to get a bigger building. If I want to double the business next year or this year, like I am intending, we're going to need more space. And I am buying this building and renovating it and doing all this work knowing that I am going to have to execute to get to those goals of doubling or tripling the business so that we do fill this space and we make the best use out of the investment into this. And that's pretty much how I've done everything. I look at what's on the horizon and where I want to be, and I look at what I have to do to get there. And if it's taking a risk on buying an expensive building or buying a piece of equipment, knowing that when I get that equipment, I can secure bigger customers or a bigger client, I'm going to take the risk and I'm going to make it happen. Because the second I do, it lights the fire under my ass to execute and make it happen. Like when I buy this building, if there aren't workers in here getting stuff done, I'm in here getting stuff done. Because there can't be any time where progress is not, or forward motion or progress is not happening. Because that eats away at my soul, and that's just how I operate. So constantly executing and constantly moving forward is the way I think, and it's the way I've grown my businesses and why they've probably grown as fast as they have, because I just can't sit around idly. I have to continually press forward. Yeah, continuing on to the tour, this is the big spot. So this is like, when I talk about growth, this is the space that we're going to grow into. So this is just this right here is 30,000 square feet. And, our current operation is 4,200 square feet upstairs, 4,200 square feet downstairs. This is like 4 times that in one floor. A lot of people, when they learn about financials or financial advice, it's like, you don't want to be risky with your money, and you want to make sure you have X amount of dollars saved up before you do this, or like, I never think like that. I'm always thinking, how can I take what I have now and use it to build something or make more for myself? I'm never thinking about saving. I'm always reinvesting. I don't know. And it's probably terrible advice. Maybe like 15 years down the line, 10, 15 years, see where it gets me. But, so far up to this point, it's done really well. So I'm going to continue to bet on myself and invest in myself and invest in my businesses. Like when I first started, I never really knew that it could be as big as it is now. I knew I could make a decent amount of money and maybe offset, like, I never thought I'd not be working a day job as a software engineer. I never thought that day would come. I never thought that I'd have 40 employees. I never thought I'd have a freaking building this big. The more I've done this and the stepping stones that have been had, like quitting my job, getting it out of the house for the first time, and then buying my first commercial property, the building we're in now, that was a huge step for me. Like the more I realize, shit, I can do this. So really, you start to believe in yourself more, and you really start to understand what's possible. When we look at this building, a $1.1 million loan, the payment comes out to, after taxes and insurance, about $12,000 a month. $12,000 a month, when you think about renting a property, gets you a building probably half the size of this, if not smaller. So a lot of people might not be able to make the leap immediately when they start their business to buy the property they're in, but I highly recommend the second you have the ability to actually buy your commercial piece of property for your business, you should definitely do it. It's a great investment. So when we look at the building I have now, I can either sell that and make money on the money I actually have in making the payments we have, or I can rent it out for $5,000-$6,000 a month, and then the building just pays for itself, and then I pocket a couple grand every month in the extra rent income. And that's where we start talking about that passive income, baby. $2,000 a month times 12 months, $24,000 a year. Doing nothing but cashing checks and making sure the tenant pays on time, doesn't put holes in the walls. You got to fix the AC system when it goes down, a leaky roof. It's not just passive income. You still have to work. And especially when you have strangers involved renting your property, shit's going to go wrong. You're going to have to do shit you don't want to do. Nothing's ever passive, even in real estate. From a money standpoint, I could section this thing off and I could rent out half of this space right here for probably $10,000 a month. And the building just pays for itself. I moved my business in over here. I have a free space to operate my business in. So it's kind of just opening your eyes to the possibilities of commercial real estate and in terms of like running your business and operating out of it. It's a great play to own the property. It's also a pain in the ass. It took 11 months to close on this loan, 4 different banks. And it was a nightmare, but finally did it. We finally owned the building, and I don't regret it. And this is going to be a great asset for me and my businesses moving forward. This is a space we're going to grow into and not immediately out of, which is super freaking exciting because we've moved 6 times in 5 years. And the bigger we get, the more equipment we have. And moving those embroidery machines is not fun at all. These things are 13 feet, 3,000-pound machines. But now for the first time, we actually have loading docks. So to get stuff in and out of this place. So yeah. So another thing in here you'll see is like we have a lot of equipment. This is equipment that has been in here for 6 months. I bought this equipment 6 months ago. Tens of thousands of dollars of equipment. Now we got great deals on it. But this is equipment that we technically don't need right now. But if I want to scale our shirt business, which I do, I need the equipment. So I saw the equipment was available. It was a good price. I didn't hesitate. I bought it. Now, that's an investment that I haven't been able to use yet. That's just sitting here, literally collecting dust because it's pretty dusty in here. but I couldn't pass up on saving the business $100,000 to $150,000 by not just buying the equipment right now. Like, a lot of people, I think they would see that big printing press in front of them, and then they'd also see the price tag and be like, there's no way I can afford that. Like, for one, you can find a way to afford it. You can get money. You can find money. You can be resourceful. That's a huge mindset shift that you need to make. You can find the money. You can get the money. And regardless of what the interest rate may be, the result on the back end of growing a business after interest is paid, yeah, maybe you get a shitty 20% interest rate on a piece of equipment. But if you look at what kind of business you can build with that piece of equipment, that 20% is actually pretty damn cheap considering the alternatives of finding an investor who owns 50% of your business, or not starting the business at all because you couldn't get the equipment. Like, that's a mindset that you have to shift and look at what the possibilities are and not what the current short-term numbers look like. Because regardless, I mean, we have a couple of machines that are still on leases that I'm going to end up paying 3 to 4 times what that machine actually costs in the long run because I needed it immediately. Now, when I look back and look at what I'm paying for that machine now, I want to throw up, but I wouldn't be where I am business-wise without that machine. So it's worth it. It sucks, but at the end of the day, you just have to make it happen. We got some screen printing equipment here, big gigantic dryer to dry the ink on the shirts once they get off the press. We're storing some hats here now, apparently. And if we take a quick look up here, this is so a lot of I did all of the floor plan for in here and the planning of like where things are going to go and kind of what they look like and stuff. And if we walk over here, so up there, that's actually my office. So there's cool windows overlooking like all the production and the work that's happening out here. That wasn't even part of the plan. I was in here. We were laying out this room over here. So in the original plan, this room right here was the other way. And when I'm actually in the physical space, I'm looking up and I'm like, there's so much vertical overhead space in here. And that's in the middle of the building. Why would I not put like a loft up there? And, like, this is where I think my creative brain is pretty good at imagining and visualizing things before they're ever actually done. And it ended up turning out really awesome. So let me show you guys my new Launch Dude office headquarters where I'll be making all of my code come to life, all of my business decisions, and who knows what other businesses I can spin up in this space. It ain't pretty yet, but here it is. Look at this. It's like 640 square feet of office. I've got my own bathroom. No more waiting for the bathrooms to be open to do my thing. At our current building, we have 2 bathrooms, and they're always being used, so it's kind of hard to find time to go to the bathroom, but won't have that problem anymore. The structure we're standing on, me and my friend actually built ourselves, so I was up here nailing this subfloor down, just figuring it out as I go. I just hope this can kind of help you guys understand that you don't have to really know what you're doing. Now, I'll preface that with saying on construction projects like this, you want to do it right. So, especially with city ordinances, codes, and permits and all of that, all this stuff has to be done right and has to be done to code. But luckily, I have hired help that knows what code is. I have an architect that's giving me advice on code too. So that helps, for someone like me that doesn't know all of those things, I'm learning them. And that's the thing. Just because you don't know something doesn't mean you can't learn it, and you can't learn it pretty easily. The more I do this stuff with the construction, the more I realize how actually simple a lot of it is. You would be surprised at how simple electric is. You'd be surprised at how simple it is to frame a wall correctly. But just because you don't know how to do something, you can learn. You can always learn. The number one skill I think you need to learn is the skill or the ability to teach yourself. Because the first time you teach yourself to do something you're going to realize that you can teach yourself to do anything. And that's going to unlock kind of this own little superpower in yourself to know that you can tackle any task or any problem that comes your way. I'm just picturing this place done right now and just full of machines and people just working right now, and how much I've gone through to get this damn building and how much I'm still going to go through to get this thing done, and the permits for, like, in our occupancy permit through the city, how much that, God, I can only imagine the turmoil I'm going to go through with those guys to get, finally the okay to have the employees in here operating. That's a whole other can of worms that we're getting into right now. It's going to be such a great feeling to be up here in something I built myself. Look at my business I built myself. And listening to the trains go by.
And as we're listening to the trains go by, I wanted to ask Robert, what do you think to all the people that are going to say that you're loaded? This guy's loaded. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, right. I'm some rich, uber rich millionaire guy. No, literally took a personal loan out to fund this construction project. So no, I'm not. And the business may have been able to float the cash, but $100K over 2 months is a lot of cash to siphon out of the business for this. This is something that's not even making money. This is a building that's costing us $10,000 to $15,000 a month in monthly payments alone, on top of having 2 other buildings that we're operating in, one for shirt launch, one for hat launch. So this thing is actually just taking money from the business until we actually have people and equipment in here making us money. So that's another reason why I'm not waiting, and I'm just, again, executing. I love that word. I've probably said it 16 million times on my videos so far. Like and subscribe. Watch my other videos too. You can see my story, more of my story, my thoughts on drop shipping, my shop, my thoughts on scammers. There's a lot of great videos out there, I promise. Spend some time, get a bottle of wine, bag of popcorn, tell your wife to leave you alone, and watch my shit. Please.